Now, our custom meeting app is going to have a different user experience that depends how and where the app is used. So, for example, in the pre-meeting experience, the meeting should display a form for attendees to submit topics, but once the meeting has concluded, attendees should only be able to see the results of the meeting, not submit new ones. So let's start by implementing the pre-meeting experience. And in this view, we need a list of all the submitted topics and a form for meeting attendees to submit new stand-up topics to present. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a new function here called my get pre-meeting UX. All right. Now the pre-meeting experience, the way this is going to work is it's going to display a list that takes up 4 grid columns in our user experience, except when the user triggers the form to appear to create a new topic, I want the list to take up 3 columns and the form to take up the 4th column on the right to get that kind of little side panel slide in. So by default, you can see from this code here that we're going to default to not showing the form because I've got the grid column is set to 4 right here. So let's create a new JSX element to contain the form, and by default it's going to be null unless the state property says. So let's create a new JSX element that's going to contain the form. So here's our JSX element right here, this add topic form, and it's set to null by default. All right, because this property we're not going to want to show that form unless the user has said they want to add a new item. So we defined our form to be null. And I'm going to check to see if the state value, if it's set to show add topic form, I'm going to switch the grid to only show 3, to span 3. So that's our for our list. And then I have our form here that is going to be defined. So what we have is our form here that you see listed as our add topic form is it's going to contain a form that you see here. And it's going to, on the submit, it's going to call our function that we've just defined previously to take our stand-up topics that were submitted. And the input control is going to be tied to the property called new topic title. So remember when we save our new topics, that was getting cleared out. And we are also going to show, we're also going to have our button listed right here. So when someone submits it, once they click it, they also are going to have a close. They also have a close button here on the form to where they can cancel it out and to set the topic form to false. And what that will do is that will just change the property to re-render everything in our form. When it re-renders, it will see right here on the if statement that we're in. It'll see that set to false, and so it won't change. It won't add anything to our topic form because it will be set to null. All right, now we can go ahead and we can create our list. So the first thing we're going to do in creating our list is scroll down a little bit farther. Give me a little more room. The first thing we're going to do when we go to create our list is I'm going to take all of my existing topics that we have, or existing stand-up topics that were loaded from our database, and I'm going to map those over to an object using the map object and the reduce function to give me a list of rows that are friendly for binding to the list control. Next, we're going to create a new object for the form to add a command to the list toolbar to add new topics. So this code right here is going to add a new command called add a stand-up topic, and it's going to be have an ID of add topic. Now we can implement our list. So our list is going to go inside of this return statement. We'll just format that up. So what does this do? So again, we have our grid, and we have in our grid we have this box. So remember, our box is going to either fill up 4 columns or 3 columns. When it fills up, whichever one it is filling up, it's going to include our list of all of our stand-up meeting topics. This is going to have 3 columns: a presenter, a topic, and a status. There's the data we're binding to it. And then when it's empty, we're going to have an option here where it says create your first stand-up meeting topic, and they can do that by clicking on the add topic in the toolbar. And we're going to define that when there's nothing there, when nothing is selected on the form, we're going to display the add topic action that we already created. Now, in this box, we're also going to display right after it, we're going to display our topic form. So if our form should be shown, it should take up one column of the 4 columns in the grid. Otherwise, and the box itself would take up 3 columns. If the form shouldn't be shown, the box takes up 4, and this value is going to be null, so it won't be taking anything up. Now, the last thing to do is to update the tab's rendering so that when we're in a pre-meeting experience of the meeting app, we display the correct user experience. So what I'm going to do is come down here to the very end of our tab, and I'm going to replace this in the entire contents of this return. And replace it with this. All right. So what this is doing is in our main content, a main content element, and it checks to see if we're in the content section, which would be our pre-meeting experience. I'm going to show the get pre-meeting UX. Otherwise, I'm going to go over here and set set it to nothing. We don't want to display anything because we're going to implement everything else at the end.